Are we prospering abundantly? Are we prospering abundantly? So to begin anything, we must start right where we are, as everything begins and ends in mind. And in order to move into a greater success and prosperity, we must never let our work or anything else label us. Whatever we are doing today is ours to do today, and it is for our good. If we don't like our work or think it is beneath us, we are attaching ourselves to a negative and cannot register success in our consciousness. So let's be very clear about this. Success is created in our mind first. Nothing is ever about what we do, but instead it's what we think about what we do. To resign from a job or to fail to fulfill the responsibilities of our current work or job before a new idea has manifested is to set ourselves up for something less than success. I have had people tell me they have left their job because they just couldn't handle it anymore, but I can assure you that the difficulty they encountered was there for their good. It was there to strengthen their resolve to be successful and to build within them the consciousness of success. Successful people are focused not on the challenges, but on their goals. Everything comes to us for our good, and if we don't believe this is so, then we are blocking our own demonstration of something greater. In order to have something greater, we must become something greater in our mind. And there is nothing quite like walking through the shadow of the valley of death, which is negativity, to build within us a determination to open our mind to a greater success. So let's look at these words this morning from the great Wallace D. Wattles from his 1910 classic, The Science of Getting Rich. He tells us, form a clear conception of what you seek to accomplish. But do not let what you seek to accomplish interfere with doing perfectly what you have to do now. Your concept of what you want is a guide, underline that word guide in your mind, to your energies and an inspiration to cause you to apply them to the utmost in your present work. Live for the future now. Suppose that your desire is to have a department store and you only have capital enough to start a peanut stand. Do not try to start a department store today on a peanut stand capital, but start the peanut stand in the full faith and confidence that you will be able to develop it into a department store. Look upon the peanut stand merely as the beginning of the department store and make it grow. And this you can do. That's from Wallace D. Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich, which he wrote in 1910. And when you think about it, he wrote that wonderful book before the Depression era in this country. And if people had followed more of what he was teaching, more and more people wouldn't have been affected by that depression. Now, a frequent question that comes to me when I have counseled people regarding success is how to do what they are doing successfully while keeping the bigger picture of their goals in their mind at the same time. The way to do it is as simple as realizing that every time we complete whatever task we are doing successfully, we are impressing our subconscious with success. Success leads to greater success. The desire we feel for success is a divine impulse within us seeking to express itself through us in a greater and greater expression of life. I know there are people who believe that success doesn't always guarantee prosperity, but believing that it doesn't guarantees that it doesn't. Both are divine urges within us because both are an acceptance of that more and more good in our experience. It is up to us to determine and to decide what it is that we want and to declare it as our own. It's up to us. We must realize within ourselves that all power has been given to us to affect those things in our life, that we've been given that dominion and authority through the power of our faith. We have dominion and authority, but do we believe we have dominion and authority? If we don't, do we believe that we're prospering abundantly? If we don't, then we're not going to increase anything in our lives. We're not going to have one dime more than we have today if we don't have the faith that there's a increasing energy to all that we do. We must decide to feel that increasing energy and get a sense that there's always something greater going on in our lives than what we can see, hear, feel, taste, and touch. The great Dr. Bitzer, who founded the Hollywood Church and on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood, wrote a marvelous affirmation regarding success and prosperity that will ensure that we experience both. He said, all that I do succeeds and prospers because success and prosperity are the laws of my life. All that I do succeeds and prospers because success and prosperity are the laws of my life. Now, if we just say those words like a parrot, we probably won't get very far with them. But when we say those words and we have our mind directed towards some goal, some expansion, some expanding idea, some enlargement of our capacities, then they will propel us into becoming aware of something greater, something more, and even enhance the talents and skills and abilities that we have, and perhaps make us even more aware of the good that's available to us right where we are. Maintaining an activity of success mentally activates the law of mind that responds to our definite claim for both success and prosperity. And what is the law? It's as you sow, so shall you reap. As we sow into our mind that we are an instrument of God's givingness, livingness, forgivingness, God's abundant life, then we shall realize that greater and more abundant life. Just as Jesus tells us in the Lord's Prayer, which is the key to life, you give us this day our daily bread. But you, God, must move through our consciousness, because what God does for us, God must do through us, because God can't do for us something that we won't allow, something that we won't accept. Just as Jesus told the man, pick up your bed and walk. He didn't say, let me pick it up for you. He said, pick up your bed and walk. You have it within you to pick up your bed and walk. So pick it up and walk. And the man picked it up and he walked. So we have that within us. We have a walking, talking power of faith within us that can be a part of us in all that we do, all that we do. If we just let go of that stuff outside of us, that noise and nonsense of the world, that's all caught up in time and all caught up in delay and someday, all that stuff. Someday I'm going to be rich. We hear people say, someday I'm going to be famous. Someday I'm going to be healthy. Someday, and someday is not a day on the calendar. So someday never comes, just like tomorrow. So Wallace D. Wattles writes, this is from his 1910 classic, The Science of Getting Rich, the cause of success is some power within you. You have the power to develop any power to a limitless extent, for there is no end to the mental growth. You can increase the strength of this power indefinitely, and so you can make it strong enough to do what you want to do and get what you want to get. When it is strong enough, you can learn how to apply it to the work, and therefore you can certainly succeed. All you have to learn is the cause of success and how it must be applied. All you have to learn is the cause of success and how it is applied. And the cause of success always comes back to whatever it is that we're believing, whatever it is that we're accepting, whatever it is that we're thinking about ourselves and our place in the universe, our place in that pathway to success. Where are we? Are we starting to do things successfully today? Because no matter what it is, if we can impress upon our mind that we've accomplished something successfully, then we will accomplish something greater at all levels successfully. But we must see ourselves accomplishing something successfully every day, no matter what it is, even if it's just to get up and get out of the house and go do something. That's a success for a lot of people. Or just to think more positive thoughts instead of negative thoughts, that's a success for people. Or to realize within our mind that there is something greater within us, that we have talents and skills and abilities that we haven't tapped into yet to the full extent that we can, that there's a knowledge and an awareness and an intelligence within us that has been laying dormant because we haven't been thinking about all the possibilities for our lives. That's why the great Dr. Robert Schuller coined coined that idea of possibility thinkers, because we think possibilities, and possibilities come to us. I can if I think I can. You can if you think you can. That's what the great Dr. Norman Vincent Peale told us. Can we? It's up to us to make that decision, or maybe it's up to us to answer in the affirmative. If we don't think we can, then we can't. If we're looking for somebody else to do it for us, they won't. Just remind yourself, Jesus said, pick up thy bed and walk. He didn't say, let me come over and pick it up for you. Let me come over and tell you how weak and unhappy and miserable you are. And leave you laying in your bed. He said, pick up your faith. Pick up your faith and walk towards a greater success. Pick up the faith in your mind and let it start being reflected in all that you think about, all that you say, all the words that you speak about yourself. Start realizing that energy that comes with acknowledging that power of awareness of the faith within you, and just let it all just come together in the most wonderful way possible. And we never know how marvelous and wonderful things can be. Let's go back to those words of Wallace D. Wattles once again. This is from his 1910 classic, The Science of Getting Rich. It says, form a clear conception of what you seek to accomplish, but do not let what you seek to accomplish interfere with doing perfectly what you have to do now. Your concept of what you want is a guide to your energies and an inspiration to cause you to apply them to the utmost to your present work. Live for the future now. Suppose that your desire is to have a department store and you have only capital enough to start a peanut stand. Do not try to start a department store today on a peanut stand capital, but start the peanut stand in the full faith and confidence that you will be able to develop it into a department store. Look upon the peanut stand merely as the beginning of the department store and make it grow. You can do this. That's from Wallace D. Wattles. So when we think about it, what he's telling us is, he's telling us that we can enlarge our capacities by realizing where we are and what we're about and what we're doing, and find our success. Find our success early on. Do things that bring us a quick success. And he's telling us that the man who has the capital, the money to invest in a peanut stand, can have a quick success, and that success impressed upon his consciousness will grow and expand that idea of a peanut stand into that department store idea that's greater. But we must have faith that it will. We must bring it into our mind, success and success over and over again, every successful thing we do. We must recognize it consciously and be aware of it. So many times we do successful things all day long, but we don't consciously make ourselves aware of it, and therefore we don't impress it upon our subconscious, because sometimes we just remember the bad things. We just remember the negative things. And the negative things make a greater impression upon our subconscious, so guess what follows? We all know what follows. Something negative will come along, because that negative impressed upon our subconscious mind is going to validate itself in our life experiences in some way, shape, or form, and sometimes it does it very quickly. So let's go back to those words again from Wallace D. Wattles. He says, the cause of success is some power within you. You have the power to develop any power to a limitless extent. To develop any power to a limitless extent. Why? Because we're always using the power of God. There's only one power. That power is God. For there is no end to mental growth. You can increase the strength of this power indefinitely, and so you can make it strong enough to do what you want to do and to get what you want to get. When it is strong enough, you can learn how to apply it to the work, and therefore you can certainly succeed. All you have to learn is the cause of success and how it must be applied. So we know this power within us is God. It's our guiding light, our strength, our hope, and our faith. It only knows success and prosperity. It cannot be brought to the level of failure and poverty, for those are not of God. We can use the same principle that Wallace D. Wattles has given us to face any issue we have in life. If we can ask ourselves, how much can we believe for ourselves today? Am I prospering abundantly, or am I allowing myself to believe that I'm not? There are no limits to what we can do, but for most of us, we need to work one step at a time and develop the faith and confidence so that we can do that greater thing still. Just as Jesus tells us, these things I have done and greater things still shall you do. He didn't say greater than him, but greater things that we've done before. Greater things that we've done before. And everything comes to us through our mind. Everything comes to us through our power of awareness. And what do we have the consciousness for? You know, everybody has a different level of consciousness. You know, just like here in the Coachella Valley, you can go driving through, and you can see a community of mobile homes, and right next to it, you'll see a gated community of multi-million-dollar homes. Everybody has a different consciousness, and everybody is living to the level of their consciousness, but there's nothing wrong with having a mobile home, and there's nothing wrong with having a multi-million-dollar home. But if we have the consciousness, if we develop the consciousness of something greater, then we'll take ourselves out of that situation that we're in and have something greater. That person with the mobile home may have the consciousness of having one of those multi-million-dolar homes, and that person with the multi-million-dollar home might think, why do I only have one home when I would like to have a home in Maine and an apartment in New York City? And as they increase their consciousness of abundance, then they'll have more than just that one multi-million-dollar home. They'll have a wonderful and beautiful home in Maine, and they'll have a wonderful and exciting apartment and perhaps a view of Central Park in New York City. We don't know. Whatever the consciousness is, it must be developed to expand. It must be developed to increase, because the universe is always increasing. There's over hundreds of thousands more stars today in the sky than there were a month ago. And the scientists are realizing that there's more and more planets. There are what they call hidden planets in the universe. So we know that the universe is always growing and expanding, and that we're a center of that divine expansion if we let it be. If we let it be, and we can just let ourselves feel that presence of that increase as it goes through our mind, our heart, and our soul, and feel the excitement of having success after success after success. Let's get back to our thought of, are we prospering abundantly? Look at these words from the American mystic Ernest Holmes. He tells us, today I recognize the abundance of life. I animate everything in my experience with this idea. I remember only the good. I accept only the good. I expect only the good. And this is all I shall experience. I give thanks that this good is flowing in an ever-increasing volume into my life. I say to my mind, there is good enough to go around. I do not withhold that good from myself or from anyone, but proclaim that spiritual substance, which is of God, is forever flowing to each and to all as daily supply. And if we take those words into our mind and we start increasing our awareness that our faith is the evidence of things not seen. Evidence, it means that it's real. It brings forth a reality. And that's why Jesus said, the kingdom of God is within you. The kingdom of good is within you, not low here or low there. But we must take it into our mind that the Spirit of God that seeks to express something greater through us, as us and for us, must have our cooperation, We must get our mind off the mundane and get our mind off the limitations of the world and open our mind to the infinite. That's why Jesus said, look up and not down. He didn't say, look up, your good is up in the sky, or look up because some angel is going to bring this miracle of something into your life, but look up away from the things of the world, because everything that we see in the world is a limitation in some way, shape, or form. But look up for those unlimited possibilities. Become a possibility thinker, as the Rev Dr. Schuller would say, and open your mind to the prosperity and the abundance that God has prepared for each and every one of us. And if someone says, are you prospering abundantly? You say, yes, I am. I am prospering abundantly in all that I do. Everything I think prospers and succeeds because prosperity and success are laws of my life. True prosperity is knowing that our prayers are responded to and that we can experience the fulfillment of our good desires. And what is our prayer? It's affirming the good in tune with the infinite good. It's affirming the good and with an alignment in our mind to God, infinite spirit, God intelligence, God power, God abundance. And so we may prosper abundantly as we bring these ideas into our mind in a greater way every day. In a greater way every day. Every day. I prosper and succeed because prosperity and success are the laws of my life. All that I do, all that I do, Dr. Bitzer said, put this in your mind, put it in your heart. All that I do succeeds and prospers because success and prosperity are the laws of my life, beginning right now, right where I am. And so it is. Amen. Once again, I want to thank you for being with me this morning. It's been my great pleasure to have you, and I hope you join me for my next broadcast right here on WKDI AM 840 Radio, your ministry station where the Way to a Wonderful Life is broadcast Monday through Friday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, simulcast on the Internet at WKDIAM840.com at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 9:30 Central Time, 7:30 Pacific Time, recorded and rebroadcast in the evening at 7:30 Pacific, 9:30 Central, 10:30 Eastern, and once again in the wee hours of the next morning. Be sure and go to YouTube.com, type in the search box